back, everybody, to Kerrex Reviews. Today's subject, we're going to be looking at a relatively easy target for critics. That target is Blue Sky Studios. If you could rank Pixar as the top theatrical animation studio, then Blue Sky would probably rank somewhere near the bottom of said list. Producing such cinematic garbage as Robots, Horton Hears a Who, and, of course, the Ice Age trilogy. But now it appears that they've added a new addition to their library of shit, a film called Rio. But what this film is particularly notable of is that it actually got Pixar to cancel one of their films. That film in question was called Newt. The film would have told the story about the last remaining male and female blue-footed newts on the planet, forced together by science to save their species, with the story mainly about the two of them not being able to stand each other until they eventually bond over a period of time until they eventually do get together, to prove that love is not a science. However, in 2010, Pixar had announced that the film Newt was officially cancelled. Now there's been various speculation as to why this happened, but some claim that the reason was because of Blue Sky Studios announcing a similar themed film. So let's ruffle up some sensitive feathers. This is Rio. So the movie opens as we get a view of the sunrise across the canopy of Rio de Janeiro, as we're about to witness this, Wait, but how did you... Slow the fuck down, movie? Can you believe it? We're only a minute into this shitfest, and already it's bombarding us with dumb musical numbers out of nowhere. I mean, there's no natural flow to the story. It just throws us right in with no explanation, and we're just supposed to sit back and accept it. I mean, for Christ's sake, it feels like I'm watching a Mentos commercial.
Mentos, the fresh.
Not those Mentos commercials, the other Mentos commercials.
Mentos, the fresh makeup.
And people were shocked that this song was beaten at the Oscars by Man or Muppet. Gee, I wonder why. Imagine if Jackson 5 music video Triumph started this way.
In the beginning, the land was pure, even in the earth.
What was it? Oh, well, never mind. Anyway...
You could see the beauty in the forms of nature. Soon men and women...
Oh, you didn't just say that! Okay, so where were we? Okay, and in the beginning there was an incident, okay.
They would find it all too easy sometimes not to see the color.
Well, anyway, while all this is happening, we focus on this one particular blue parrot that could possibly be an important character of some sort. He observes the others around him so that he can learn how to fly. But then all the birds get caught by some poachers, and thank God puts this musical number to an end. You see this, audience? That's how little the filmmakers think of you. They actually had to put a subtitle saying, "This is not Rio," as if they think we're too stupid to figure any of this shit out ourselves. So we see a shipment of exotic birds being sent to Minnesota, the so-called not Rio of the setting, and we see that the truck driver is apparently too dumb to notice that there's a red light in the traffic signal. Which makes me wonder just how much attention the driver is paying towards the environment around him. As we see this guy barely avoid receiving his Darwin Award, the back of the truck somehow sends one of the crates out into the open. We then see this little girl open up the crate and find, what a shock, that one random bird from the beginning turns out to be an important character. Who'd have thought, eh? And we see in this montage that they apparently grow up together, and he starts mimicking human abilities. And we see that the two of them have opened up a bookstore. We also learn that Blue, voiced by Jesse Eisenberg, is not exactly the most popular bird on the block.
Well, if it isn't my favorite nerd bird. Throw all the snowballs you want. I'm protected by this magical force field called glass.
It's what keeps us so toasty and warm in here, while you guys are out there freezing your...
Yeah, this was totally worth Pixar canceling one of their productions over. Not to mention the fact that it completely distracted me from the unfortunate side effects that would occur if a parrot would actually eat cookies or drink chocolate milk. It's at this point where we meet some loser named Tulio, who becomes fascinated by Blue, seeing that he is a rare species of parrot referred to as the blue spix macaw, which is most likely how he got Blue as his name. He tries to persuade Linda, voiced by Leslie Mann, to lend Blue over to him in order to participate in an exciting experiment with a female specimen that he just so happens to possess down at his headquarters down in Rio de Janeiro in order to help save this supposedly rare species, while simultaneously on the quest for his own piece of ass. It's also at this point when we find out Blue's big disability. He seems to be unable to fly properly.
What kind of doctor are you?
Have a safe flight.
Naturally.
Later that night, we see Blue looking through the archives regarding books about flight.
I have quadrated my vector angles, I've adjusted for wind shear, positive reinforcement, flaps open, landing gear, tail flaps. This is it. Let's fly.
Do there happen to be any books on how to survive a zombie apocalypse by any chance? After experiencing a failure to launch, which you could theorize is a metaphor for what this film did to Pixar, they go through a brief existential crisis before eventually deciding to travel to Rio de Janeiro.
You don't want to get beak burned.
So after we go through the travelogue disguised as a plot, we meet two new primary characters, voiced by Will.i.am and Jamie Foxx.
He's a tourist. Funny, you don't look like one.
Really? I don't?
Except you got pigeon doodle on your nose.
From an Oscar winner to this, how much lower could Jamie Foxx possibly go? It's here when we finally make it to the facility and get a brief overview of their operations, including some foreshadowing of what's to come later. And we get an establishing shot of a character who's clearly going to be important later. They decide to prep Blue up in order to meet Jewel by giving him a hairstyle that would make Sanjaya blush.
I'm not gay.
A Sanjaya reference. Are we really going that obscure? It's right there and then where he spots his precious Jewel. But you and I both know she was just getting ready to attack. So this is our love interest for the movie, the supposed last female blue spix macaw named Jewel, voiced by Anne Hathaway. Not quite sure what to do with jokes in this situation. I mean, Dark Knight Rises hasn't been released to theaters yet, and Les Maistre Blas is still filming. Well, just gotta go with the tried and true approach.
Three little maids from school, are we? Heard of a schoolgirl well can be.
She tries hatching an escape plan, while Blue essentially tries to make it past first base. And the humans are not helping.
Okay, I had nothing to do with that.
Wow, that was fast.
So as they make it out of the room to give some private time, we meet the security guard, who seems to have a thing for... Oh, dear Jesus Christ! I could have gone my whole life without ever having to witness that. But before we can see any more of this monstrosity, he hears a noise, and we find that it came from the cockatoo from earlier, who turns out is actually evil. We then catch up with Linda and Tulio as they have found themselves near a local restaurant, where they start having their own bonding moment.
Until I met you.
Yes, right. Do you have a favorite bird?
Well, obviously, I'm a blue macaw kind of gal.
My favorite bird is a spotted owl. I've always been mesmerized by those big, round, intelligent eyes.
Yeah, I wouldn't get too comfortable there, buddy.
I need to cool it on the Thai food.
Oh my God.
Seriously, dude, light a candle.
Oh my God.
We then learn that Blue and Jewel have been abducted by a group of illegal, amoral bird smugglers, who seem to earn profits from kidnapping birds, which I'm assuming are the same guys we saw at the beginning of the film. And apparently Nigel is in cohorts with them. We then learn that the boy working for the smugglers has no family. Guess that sucks. We then cut back to the smugglers as it's time to feed Nigel, of which they hand him a piece of chicken.
Ugh, cannibal.
So you know what time it is? It's time for a little segment we like to call the Pedantic Asshole Hour. Cannibal, a person or animal that eats flesh of its own kind, derived from the Spanish word carbil, or carib, from the notion that West Indian natives ate human flesh. Nigel appears to be designed after the sulfur-crested cockatoo, which comes from the genus Cakatua and the species Galerita, which derives from Australia and New Guinea and some islands of Indonesia. The piece of chicken he appears to be eating in this scene is based off of the domesticated fowl, a subspecies of the red jungle fowl, which comes from the genus and species Gallus and subspecies Domesticus. Since the cockatoo and the chicken are not technically the same class or species, this scene does not technically count as cannibalism. This has been the Pedantic Asshole Hour. Meanwhile, over in the cage room, we see Nigel toying around with all the other birds, where, as he calls it, essentially showing them just who's boss in this joint. It's also established in this scene that he was once a circus performer, and he decides to tell us through song. You know, I didn't think we'd find a bad guy with a worse villain song than Ruber from Quest for Camelot, or Norman the Normal from the Groovinians. Hell, even Scowl from Happily Ever After. But somehow I think we just found another winner here, or loser in this case, which is a shame since all were pretty much voiced by great actors.
Shut up now. Shut up! It's just me.
Blue and Jewel finally escape from their cages. He drops the bomb that he can't fly. And to make matters worse, they end up getting shackled by the Talons. Was this basically your way of telling adults, see, there's something in this film for you? If you can tell where this is going, then congratulations, your brain is working. So after we fade to blackout, we catch up with Blue and Jewel as once again they start squabbling over their differences.
Hey, don't talk to me about nature. I watch Animal Planet.
Boy, does that statement sound outdated.
Animal Planet, surprisingly human.
They soon find themselves up in a watchtower where they decide to get some sleep. We cut back to Linda and Tulio as they're passing out flyers on finding Blue.
Have you seen my bird?
You know, in any other context, that would just sound wrong.
See, here's his problem. He's going around dressed like that, asking women, have you seen my little monkey?